Motu came out and said that I think he was promised some vice presidential position. Well, they got nothing. And we were proven correct in the first sitting of the parliament, because what you have is an alliance between APNU and the AFC, and that is what we spoke about on the elections campaign. And they're sharing both the speakership and the deputy speakership. Nagamotu has gotten nothing. He's an ordinary parliamentarian. He obviously is not vice president. Mr. Ramjatan has gotten nothing. He remains in the backbenches of the parliament. So nothing has changed.
Which is a point Mr. Collymore made. But you refer to an interesting period ahead, or of government business, or the people's business rather. An interesting period ahead. We're faced with a situation here where there is this dispensation in the National Assembly. That has, of course, to be juxtaposed against the reality that in the coming weeks or coming months, or perhaps even weeks, we're likely to see the presentation of the 2012-2013 national budget. Interesting period ahead.
Yes, very interesting period ahead. As I said, it is an unprecedented parliamentary configuration, so it's very difficult to look at looking at the parliamentary history of Guyana will not provide any guidance on the issue. I suppose that if it is that the two of them join hands together and they do not support the budget, then the budget will not be passed, and some type of constitutional arrangements will have to be made, and possibly the next step is to go back to the electorate. In Trinidad, if I may refer to a neighboring country that had a similar problem, they could not have agreed on a speaker because of a tie in the elections, and they went back to the electorate within 9 months. In fact, they had 3 successive elections in 3 years because they were unable to get a satisfactory majority type of arrangement in place. And unless deals can be struck and people behave reasonably and people behave in the national interest, and the government is not held at ransom on every occasion, then we may have to go back to the electorate to clear this matter up once and for all.
But as I said before, you're the legal advisor of the government. You're the legal representative of the government. Of course, you're likely to advise His Excellency the President of the better of the options. First, attempt to have the current dispensation in the National Assembly work, rather, or as against, first move into the expensive process of going back to the people.
Well, we remain committed. From the beginning, every pronouncement the President has made, every posture he has adopted, gives the clear impression that we are committed as a government to work with the opposition to get the government agenda going and to get the people's business done. That is the unequivocal position of the executive government. But we can only do that if we get the cooperation of the other side. That is the nature of the parliamentary structure. We can't get anything passed in the National Assembly, be it motion, legislation, the budget, nothing can be passed without the support of either the AFC or APNU. We can't get anything passed. Today we have seen them joining hands together. And I'm saying to you that if that is an indication of their behavior in the months that will come, then going back to the elections may be the inevitable thing. If I'm just to judge from their position today, because magnanimity could have been displayed and at least the deputy position could have been, deputy speaker position could have been offered to the government side. Remember, the parliament, as I said, it is divided in 2, not 3. There is the government side and there is the opposition. And one side ought to get the speaker, and I speak at the minimum, and one side the deputy speaker. When we, for all the years that we have been in government, from 92 to now, we have won a majority on every occasion that we went to the electorate, that we went to elections. And on every occasion, we took the speaker and we conceded, we never contested the deputy speaker, because we could have won both. From 92 to 2006, we won every elections with a majority support in the parliament. And we took the speaker position and we ensured that the opposition got the deputy speaker. Every time. This time around, when the roles were reversed, they took everything. And I'm saying to you that if that is a reflection of the way that their actions will unfold themselves, then they leave us in government with very little choice but to go back to the electorate.
35 years in the National Assembly should not be taken lightly. Do you think there is a place for Magnet for this kind of dispensation to work in real terms?
If these fellows are serious, it can work. But we're not impressed with how they started it out. We're not impressed. It can work. It can work. Because they're actually, as I said before, they want to give us a message, they're telling us something. If they cooperate the way they're supposed to cooperate, because certain motions and instruments are supposed to emanate from the government, the administration of the day, and they can't emanate these things. So if they concede all of these things and they have a reasonable position, make reasonable demands, because they will make demands, it can work. But if they throw down the gauntlet, we'll go back to the polls.
As you said, an arm and a leg, you're willing to cede an arm, not an arm and a leg.
I know they're going to ask for an arm and a leg, but I'm not saying that we go cede any.
Look, minority governments have worked all over the world. They have worked successively in Canada. They have worked in many places in Europe, in Switzerland. I think their government in Australia right now is minority. They have worked in New Zealand. They have worked in several places. But it depends upon the reasonableness of all parties concerned. National interest, patriotism are sentiments that must prevail over politics and selfishness. And that is what is required for it to work. Because if everybody wants to play politics, well, then it will not work. But if everyone would support an agenda and support principles and support concepts and take positions that will advance the development of this country, that will advance the welfare of the people of this country, that will advance our country as a whole internationally, then if they take such position and they put partisan political interest aside, or at least on the back burner, then it will work. But it will work. But what will happen when these things happen? The government will look good.
Allow me to put you on the spot. Let's say you are aware that Mr. Trotman and Mr. Granger are looking at this program at this point in time. What were you to say to them? And this, of course, is in closing.
I will say to them that the electorate of this country has given to us an unprecedented opportunity, a unique opportunity to see whether we can behave as mature political leaders as we should be, and whether we can put partisan political interest aside and work for the national good, work to unite our people, work to develop our country, work to advance the interest of our people. And if it is that we can do that, then Guyana will be a very prosperous place. If we cannot do that, then we have to go back to the electorate, and then they will decide who behaved unreasonable in the circumstances, whom we told will form alliance with each other. Because we told the people when we campaigned that X, Y, and Z will happen unless you vote in a particular way. And we were proven correct. The first opportunity that presented itself manifested the fears which we were voicing to the people throughout the political campaign.
Mr. Collymore, if you were to say to Mr. Granger or Mr. Trotman, if you're aware that they're looking at the program, what would you say?
They are looking at the program, or they will look at it subsequently. I will tell them that they have thrown away a very good opportunity to start out on a very sound footing, to give the people of Guyana confidence in the future. They have lost a very good opportunity to do so.
Veteran politician and parliamentarian, and former, of course, former Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Mr. Clinton Collymore, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Alan Nandlal. Gentlemen, thanks for affording me this opportunity to speaking with you soon after the commencement of the 10th Parliament. I'm, of course, your host, Michael Gordon. Thanks for watching.
Okay.